Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps. It is I, your host with the most renaissance man who always thinks he can, and champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back for another Raw Rewind, part of Pitts and Sarah's wrestling show. And you can't have Pitts and Sarah's wrestling show without the best of the West. You can't forget about Sarah Marshall. Sarah, what's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
What's popping, David? How we doing? Sarah, it's a great day, okay? Usually days like, we've recorded before or whatever, and it wasn't a good Raw, or Raw was just like, okay, and you're like, yeah, you're going through the motions. Complete opposite today. We had some sushi. We don't usually eat pre-recording like this close, and it's my sushi. And we got TNA on. I rewatched Raw again because I fell asleep, obviously.
You're wearing a sleeveless
I
tee.
mean, look at these friggin' guns. Oh my god. Look at me.
We're getting a lot of hellos, so I just want to be like, hello. Hello, everybody.
And we rewatched Raw, and here's why it's important that we did it so quickly or swiftly, is that I actually fast forward through the commercials.
Yes.
Getting to the point that I needed to hit.
Yes.
And we have enough time for our favorite wrestling thing ever. Early 2000s TNA. It's amazing. And then NXT's coming on. So I'm watching Stanley Cup Finals, David. Yeah, I don't. Once the Bruins were out of it,
I don't watch hockey, so.
Is that a personal reason or just like
I'm just not into hockey.
Not into it.
Yeah, I just didn't grow up watching it, and sports ended for me last night because the Nuggets beat the Heat.
Can we talk about Jokic? I know it's a wrestling show, but this kind of plays in a weird way. Could you be so less enthused that you just won a championship?
That's just how he is, though. Like, that's kind of what I like about him, because he was even like that when they were asking him about, like, oh, hey, are you trying to win your third straight MVP? Like, when he was, when we were at that point in the season, and he was just like, no, like, I don't care. Like, he was just like, no, I just play basketball. Like, he did not care about potentially winning, and he should have won, if we're being honest.
Oh, he absolutely should have.
Over Embiid. But
that's why to me it's just so like kind of like deflating feeling, is because for so long, like I still love him, whatnot, but when you're that character, I'll compare it to wrestling. Okay, he's like Orange Cassidy.
Okay.
For our peeps out there in the comment section, he's like Orange Cassidy. Like, he does what he has to do. He's gonna do everything in his power to win the game or win the match, whatever. And then at the end, it's like, how was that? You just did an incredible move to win. How you feeling? Just like, cool.
I love how he was like so upset about the parade not being till Thursday, because he's like, he just wants to go home. So he's bummed that he can't go home yet. And that's the thing, is I think
it's not here.
Yeah, and I think part of it, I think, is like a culture difference too, because people don't realize that, like, in Europe and in just other parts of the world, like, they're not like Americans, where we're very loud and obnoxious and celebrate everything. And it's like, they are just very much like, yeah, okay, like, it's great, like, that's just how they are. That's just how, like, there's not always like a massive difference between winning something and losing something. That's just how they are. And so I feel like that might just be how he is. I think it just shows you, like, how much he just loves the game, and like, he's happy to be playing at the national, at the professional level in the NBA, where it's like the other stuff is like cherries on top. You know what I mean? Like, his main goal was to play professional basketball. And so if other things come along with it, then, like, yeah, that's exciting. Sometimes when this type of thing happens, it takes people a while to kind of like have it sink in. So he might have kind of
True.
come off a little nonchalant about winning, the Nuggets' first title,
Yeah.
but it might not have hit him yet,
To me, it
Like,
was just the champagne bottle when he's shaking
yeah.
it. It's a video, like, it looks so half-assed, and I'm like, "Dude, that's your time where no one's gonna judge you for finally celebrating. Like, you earned it. You, like,
Yeah.
live it out,
He's
let that out."
You just have to think too, they're probably exhausted. They've been playing like every other day
God.
for the past
Yeah.
like 2 months. That can't
Yeah.
obviously it's a lot easier
Draining.
than, I don't know, football. If they obviously you can't play football every other day, but like, yeah, I'm sure, yeah, I would be like, I'm just ready to go home. I want to sleep in my bed. I don't want to be in a hotel. Like,
That's true. That's
yeah.
true.
So I don't know. But anyway,
But the finals end,
I
that
know. So,
and that means it's only baseball season. There's
which
1,000 baseball games in a
I
summer,
don't again, I don't really
which
pay
means it's
attention
more
to that.
time for wrestling, Sarah, and Monday
Woo!
nights are going to get raw.
Can
All
you try
right,
to
they're gonna
remind me to tell you something when we're off air? Can you try to
Sure,
remember? Okay.
I'll try to put
Actually,
it
let
in the
me
yield.
do it in the private chat. So that way
Okay.
I can remind me
Oh,
to
we're
tell
going
you something.
behind
Well,
we're going
that way I can
behind the
just see that I
curtain.
did it. Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, okay, let's get into Raw then.
Yeah, take us through the journey, Sarah. What
Yes.
did we see?
So we knew that this was going to happen after what we saw on SmackDown when Asuka was presented with the new women's championship. We just weren't sure what Rhea's was going to look like, what it was going to be called, but they started off Raw with it, which I'm excited about. That okay, so first of all, she was presented with now what it seems to be called the WWE World Women's Championship. So it's not a weird name, but obviously they can't call it the World Heavyweight, they can't call it the World Lightweight, like they can't put that type of like
Can't
weight
put
class in it.
lightweight. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't do weight classes now.
yeah. So I personally love the design. I don't even know how many weeks ago it was when we were talking about the significant difference between the men's championship and the women's championship and how the fact that they were so vastly different was kind of problematic in the sense of like they're trying to elevate the women's division to feel equal to, not less than, the men's division, and then having the championships look the way that they did kind of still made it fairly obvious that they were not equal. And so I love that, some people are calling it laziness, that the new women's titles were just replicas of the men's but just with a white strap instead. I love it. I think it's great. The championship looked sick on Rhea's waist,
Oh yeah,
and
well
I think
deserved.
that I don't know. I like it because it equalizes the divisions. There's no clear
Yeah,
divide.
that's what you're going for right now. You don't want there to be a difference in product with
Hmm.
these divisions. You want them to be as equal, and the only way to do that in a corporate wrestling world is you slap the same logo or same design, whatever,
Hmm.
on two different straps. That's it.
Yeah.
And it sounds cheesy or lazy and sounds like, well, you couldn't have gone with great. The era of crazy designs, like sick designs, is not it right now. It's might come
Well,
back, but it's more about getting the logo out there so that
yeah.
one, well, who are you the champion of? And two, you want to use it as a marketing tool. For instance, they are already shipping.
Yep. They
This is how we
shipping the
bring
one to the
That's what I'm
Nuggets.
saying. This is how we
Yeah.
connect things in the yard of streams. All right.
Hmm.
They literally are doing that. All
Yeah.
right. Wrestling's connected to everything.
Well, and they'll send one whenever the Stanley Cup ends too. So
Which this is why I'm the champ of the peeps here. I'll give my guy a shout out. He says Florida wins tonight. All right, David. I'm kind of with you. All right. I got some
I
peeps
have
in
no
Florida.
I have no skin in the game, so I have no idea. So
My
I'll
buddy
go
grew up with them.
Florida, I guess. I don't know.
Go Panthers. Just
Well, then
anybody with
aren't you
all of
kind
them.
of biased a little bit as a Bruins fan because of Bruce Cassidy? Are we not?
I just
Because that was
it,
such a weird.
it would be, but at the same time, if he wins, it's a
It
bad
stings.
look. It's
Yeah,
a
it
bad
stings
look for the
more.
Bruins. It's a
Yeah,
bad look.
yeah, for sure. Um, So anyway, yeah, I was fine with this. You know, we kind of talked about it a little bit when we were discussing um Asuka's new championship, that there were people who weren't happy about not making it feel grander. I think it's fine. We knew this was coming, so it's fine. And even to go off of what you said about, you know, people complaining about the lack of design, when they've kind of tried to do different designs, people like for, you know, exactly what people wanted, they still complained. So it's like, I think this just equalizes it. It's fine. You know what to expect. There's no brand affiliation with either of them, which is good for the future. So like, you don't have to worry about if this person's on Raw, this person's on SmackDown. And I prefer that they feel a little bit more like current and old school at the same time. Because I think if they try to do anything too crazy, then we'd be sitting here complaining about how they went too crazy, you know?
Yeah, they
Like,
know their place. They know
yeah.
their role right now. Their role is not to be the crazy wrestling brand that's doing that type of shit. Let AEW, let Impact, let those guys
Mhm.
do it because they
Well,
can. That's their role.
and the NXT Women's Championship is really pretty. So if you think that
I
the
like that
women's
design. I like how the
yeah,
colors on it.
yeah.
Um,
So if people
yeah,
are not happy with the main roster one, then get the NXT one because like you know, or get the older ones because they're gonna be available. I think
well,
they're selling the Divas title again. So
they are. I
yeah. So
saw
if you
that.
really want like if you want a pretty one, then go get the butterfly one. You know?
Yeah,
Um
that is an incredible design. But they have to do
so
something with the NXT titles too, the NXT tag titles and the women's tag titles.
I
So
know.
we're
Well,
gonna
and
get another
then
belt. We're gonna get at least 2 more belt
well,
displays.
and I'm
Or
wondering if they're going to change the men's too, because if we're changing all of them, you might as well change the tag titles. And then if you're not going to make them brand affiliated, then you should probably change them because they currently have blue and red leather to signify what show they're on. So it's like,
yeah,
okay, well, I just wonder how that's going to go. But I still
are
think they need 2 tag titles though.
are we over the color leather era? Like, do
I
we?
kind of never liked the colored
You never
leather.
liked it to begin with. Okay,
No.
all right.
No.
Well,
I
okay.
think yeah, because I just feel like it looks a little more cartoony or like not legitimate. Like, it looks more like a toy. You know what I mean? Like, the black and white leather differences, I think that's cool, but I feel like there was a way that they could have done it differently, kind of like how they did the women's or the women's championships where it had the blue background or the red. Like, there could have been a way that they did it like that, where it was, like, a little less, like, in your face. But I also hate the tag team title design. Like, I'm glad that they went to silver instead of when it looked like a giant penny, but
Yeah.
silver doesn't feel superior. Like, they should have gone with
Oh, 'cause it's number
gold.
2.
Yeah, but it's
But
like,
2 tag team. There's 2 people in a tag team.
yeah, but you
Well,
don't
this
need
is
it to be
4, but
you can make
2.
it gold still though. It doesn't need to be silver. I don't know. I think they need a redesign,
All
but
right. Well, yeah.
we'll see.
Oh,
So as Rhea is celebrating because Dom Dom does come out to celebrate with her, and oh my gosh, do people hate him. Cody Rhodes is all like, "Hey, actually, me too. I'm here." And I was like kind of bummed that he was starting the show off so early because I was like, "Oh man, now I don't get to look forward to seeing you," but that's okay.
Start
He
right
needed to
away.
come out and address Dom for bitch slapping him last week and then running away. It's like, I can't wait any longer. I need to address this. Prison Dom has reemerged and I don't appreciate it, is what Cody was saying. So
In that tone.
yes, exactly like that. And so he comes out to show the video footage of what happened last week and then goes on to challenge Dom to a match at Money in the Bank since Lesnar has been a no-show, and according to Cody, he's probably scared to face him again, which I was like, Cody, I feel like you're really setting yourself up for a
Love
true beating.
that confidence.
I
I
know.
need
I
that
know.
confidence
I think
so
we
bad.
we definitely need that, I think, because of the fact that I mean he's still in the background feuding with Lesnar. Obviously Lesnar
Oh,
has
that is everyone's got a peek behind scenes and knows what's going on.
yeah,
Type
so
of
they
deal.
they
Yeah.
need to see that confidence from him, especially after how he lost the last match. Um and so yeah, it's nice that he's like talking his trash when Lesnar's not there. I think it's fine because it's keeping it relevant and then getting people to still be excited about it, which I mean, I don't know that you really need to get excited about it. You should be excited about it, you know? even if it isn't happening until August, because we're excited about it. We're excited about Brock Cody 3. You know, aren't
I'm
you?
very excited. It doesn't
Oh,
seem
okay.
it, but
I was
I
gonna
am very
say
excited.
your delayed response made it seem like you weren't excited. That's why I was like,
I'm
"Aren't we?
reading comments, to be honest with
Aren't
you.
we excited, Pat? Aren't
No, I'm
we?"
very excited. We're multitasking. We're listening to your
Okay.
great points. I got people got comments here, but we can't really bring them up yet because
Oh,
like
okay.
they're one of
So
those where we don't want to spoil it.
yeah. So okay. So Cody challenges Dom to Money in the Bank.
Dickie over here says he wants to see Brock Cody 3 Stages of Hell. So
And
all
you
right,
said
that's
that, didn't
relevant.
you? You mentioned that.
That's
Something like that, yeah.
gets it.
So
He listens to the champ. That's what we love.
so since Lesnar is a no-show, Cody challenges Dom to Money in the Bank. Dom is being booed out of the building once again, which Cody is just loving it and taking advantage of it, like trying to say like, "Oh, what were they just saying?" And they start chanting "You suck" even louder. Dom
Classic.
says that he will embarrass Cody in London, as he basically accepts. He doesn't accept it, but Rhea accepts it. And then Miz tries to sneak attack Cody
Yeah,
from
what'd you think
behind.
of that? What'd you think of Rhea accepting it?
I like it because this is the thing about the dynamic between Rhea and Dom. So, I mean, other than the fact that I just love it, obviously, because I love Rhea. It's a very, like, to me, it's like an old school dynamic, but reversed. You know, normally what we see is the dominant male with the woman who's out there like talking trash, doing this, and then he would like shield her from anything that whoever that person was could do to
Yeah.
her, whether it was male or female. So I really love that we see the opposite of that, because other than the fact that it's different, and we haven't seen it before, obviously this is the dynamic that they would have if they were actually like dating in real life, because no one would believe that anyone would be fearful of Dominic in real life. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean?
No.
Like, Dominic's not stepping up to Cody Rhodes in real life, or Brock Lesnar, or whoever else he steps up to. You know what I mean? Like, Rhea is more intimidating because she's just like a goddess of a lady with this buff body. So it's like, yeah, you're scared of her. You're not really scared of Dom. So that dynamic, I think, is, I don't know, it's cool, and it's cool to see, especially as, you know, we were literally just saying about like the women's division being elevated, whatever. I feel like she elevates the division even if she hasn't been involved in a whole lot recently. Her whole thing with Dominic and her being so involved in the men's division rivalries, feuds with the Judgment Day is huge. That's a huge change, because normally the women are like, you know, kind of more like the Scarlet role,
Yeah,
where it's like
they're the
she's,
ballet.
yeah, like involved, but like sparingly, but like doesn't really say anything, which is fine. We all,
Kind of
there's,
supernatural, but not supernatural, like wrestling supernatural
yeah, so
type
it's
of
like seen but
involvement.
not
Yeah.
heard, kind of, you know,
That's
like,
another good way to put it.
so it's cool that the roles are reversed in this situation. And so I'm loving that it's kind of progressing even more, because we've gotten hints of, you know, Dom doing something and kind of like finding himself in trouble, and then Rhea stepping up, but Rhea's getting more involved. And so I think that's, I don't know, I find it to be like really cool to see.
Richard says
Mhm.
Cody v Dom is a good placeholder feud until Brock at SummerSlam. It is annoying that people are saying that Cody is bare.
No,
Those people are what we call dense.
they're just, I think they're like, it's
Dense.
marks. They're marks. That's kind of what you would say, because that's what they've, a lot of them have been saying since WrestleMania 39 too. Like, I get the initial reaction of feeling like, what the fuck happened with Cody losing to Roman at Mania, especially after that build up. Totally understand it. We were feeling it for a week or two afterwards. We were just like, dude, what is happening? But like, everything that has happened since then, you really can sit there and say you don't think that they're elevating him, or like this is like legitimizing him, especially to the people who were doubting him by Mania, because just because he was super over and people were really loud cheering for him and singing his song and excited to see him, it's not like it was 100% of the WWE universe were on board with Cody losing or winning at Mania. That's not the case. So
No.
you have to try and win more people and legitimize Cody, so that if he is the one to dethrone Roman, let's say, there aren't going to be as many people saying he didn't earn it. He's done nothing. He was handed this. This is all the stuff he has to go through in order for those people to basically shut up.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm so happy Roman won. I'm so happy. It just
Well,
I can't believe where I'm on that, where I'm so fine with this 1,000 day, and he can have a
yeah.
Bruno Sammartino reign, in my opinion, because it's basically at WrestleMania, it's separated the story. It's kind of separated the WWE timeline a little bit, where now you have Roman. It's the Bloodline Championship. Let's face it. It's the Bloodline Championship until the Bloodline story is over, and then they get re-injected into what's happening in this new era. And you now have Cody Rhodes, who you thought like, oh, he won the Rumble. It's his time. It's finally
Hmm.
no. Let's keep him climbing even more. How many steps can we throw at him for him to climb up and reach to the top? That is what this is about. And I'm so glad that I didn't freak out
Yeah.
or take my, as Triple H said, I'm gonna take my thoughts to Twitter and I'm
Hmm.
gonna tweet them. I'm glad I let it play out.
Yeah.
I
Well, and
thank
that's
you
why I
for allowing
said,
all this.
when we first discussed it, like we were kind of caught between how we were feeling,
Yeah,
mostly because we the direction of Cody was unclear at that point. And obviously we've even talked about it. It's hard to break your mind away from the molding that Vince McMahon's
right.
way of booking things has caused our brains to function when watching wrestling, especially WWE anyway. And so when something like that happens, where a guy that is so over, the biggest moneymaker in the company at the moment, loses a huge match after the months of buildup, you're like, okay, now it's to the sewer. Like, this guy is being buried, this guy's dead and gone. Like, there's nothing there. And it's possible that could have happened if Vince was around and like Triple H had no influence. It's possible that we could have been, sitting here talking about Cody doing jobber matches or something. Who knows? We don't know. But I think that what they're kind of trying to do is like, because he was gone for so long and then he comes back only for a couple months, then gets injured and then is gone again for like 8 months. Like, they're kind of trying to pick back up where they left off last year,
Oh
because
yeah,
had he not gotten injured last year, I wouldn't be surprised if he then uncrowned uh Roman at Mania 39. But that would have made more sense because it would have been a whole year later, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So they're kind of trying to put a ton of story to like, to build his book essentially, into cram it into like a 1 year period, which is what he would have done for years leading up to this moment had he never left. I feel like that's just kind of what they're doing, because they like to try and pretend, not as much anymore, that when someone leaves WWE that they fall off the face of the planet, that their only existence was ever in WWE and they don't do
Yeah, they
anything.
kind of they try to do that and
Yeah,
saying, "Yeah, he's got some ring rust." It's like,
yeah, and so it's like there are
not
people who
really.
are unfamiliar with Cody because they weren't fans or weren't watching when he was last around, or if they did, maybe they caught him as Stardust. They didn't see legacy, they didn't see
Imagine
dashing
catching
and
him as
undashing, you
Stardust,
know?
and
Yeah,
that's your first, and you're like, "This guy?"
yeah. So
And
it's like,
you're, like, only a WWE fan, and you have no idea what All Out is?
I know.
Oh my
It's
god.
it's it's crazy. So, yeah, I think that it's just
What would that be like? That's
I don't know.
interesting. That is
So I do see this comment. I haven't read it, but I just saw it said Cody. So Richard says Cody hasn't mentioned Roman since Raw after Mania. This makes me think that Cody will go after any world title, including world heavyweight. However, many in the
internet wrestling
IWC,
community.
yes, won't accept a WHC win, calling it a second place prize.
He's not gonna go after he's
I
not
don't think
mentioning
he
Roman
will.
because it doesn't matter.
Well,
It
because
doesn't
it's
matter.
nothing. Well, because nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, what is he can say Roman all he wants, but Roman's feuding with his own family currently, all
Yeah,
right?
so I'm kind of wondering how it's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't something that happens at Mania 40, just because like the only thing that makes logical sense for that to happen would be for Cody to win Money in the Bank. And as of right now, that's not happening. So
No,
it doesn't we'll have to see how this plays out, because I can't think of any situation that would make sense for him to be able to challenge Roman for the title. But
it'll be Royal Rumble.
yeah, he can't win the Rumble 2 years in a row. That's
Yeah, he doesn't have to win it. He just has to be interfered by the bloodline or Solo Sikoa or
yeah.
Paul
I
Heyman
don't know.
or
There's too much time between now and then to even like.
I just thought of that on the spot. That was pretty good. That was
Yeah.
really good.
Moving on. So
Moving
Becky
on!
Lynch. Becky Lynch. She lays into Zoe Stark, who's solo this week. Trish Stratus was not at Raw. Before her match with Chelsea Green. So I thought this was actually a good promo, and I've been saying this for a couple weeks. Becky has been doing really well on the mic recently. Like, she kind of made fun of herself last night for flubbing a little bit. She caught herself and kind of like addressed it, which I think is better than ignoring it, which a lot of people do. Yeah, just laugh at it because it's like it happens. You know what I mean? Even when we're talking, we're not scripted, so
Oh
it
my
just
God, I
happens.
talk over my words all the time. I talk over
Oh,
people.
yeah. So she comes to the ring and she talks about how she's going to win Money in the Bank, that it's always eluded her, but that is going to change this year because she has a good feeling about it. She talks about how the woman who holds that briefcase holds a lot of power, and boy, does she love power. And I was like, girl, same. And then I'm just kidding.
Girl,
And then
same.
she says how she wants to win so she can instill fear in the champion, much like what she has done with Trish Stratus. And that is why she had to get her insurance policy, Zoe Stark, which of course Zoe Stark's name was said. So Zoe's like, oh, I happen to be in Gorilla.
See,
Let's go.
Look at how she followed the rules, Sarah.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said that, because I knew you were going to mention that.
It's nice when we follow rules.
So basically, it just goes exactly how you think it is. She says she's going to beat Trish, or says Becky can't beat Trish. Sorry, blah, blah, blah. Says that she will be able to add her to her list of failures. And then Becky says that Zoe is built like a pit bull, but lacks the personality, and asks if she doesn't own a mirror. I was like, girl, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
What is with the low blows? But sometimes I guess the women gotta involve that, because that is the stereotypical thing that they have women.
It's a cheap hit, cheap pop.
Pop. Zoe also went for the cheap pop of talking about Becky only being relevant because someone broke her nose, which I was like, okay, I understand that that's like an easy go-to thing, but we need to like stop bringing it up like every single week, because it doesn't hold the same weight as it did the first time. You know what I mean?
You used to not want them to bring up because it brings up our favorite girl who's not like most girls and doesn't get what you get. No.
Nope.
All right, move on.
And then Chelsea and Sonya Deville decide to come out, and what I thought was funny is I didn't see this moment, but my sister said something about like, did Zoe really go like to Chelsea, and Chelsea just like stood there and was like, excuse me, what are you doing? I didn't see it. My sister said that happened, and I was like, I really need to try and find that, because
I gotta find that because it's so Chelsea.
Because I was like, oh my God, the fact that she didn't even move, like, I was like, what a queen. So Chelsea is just like, last week you attacked me unprovoked. I was just trying to help my teammate, who happens to be Sonya Deville. And she's just saying whatever because Chelsea's Chelsea. And Becky tells Zoe that, you know what, you should take a seat and watch this match so you can see how famous I am. And then they get into the match, and Becky wins.
Sizzle.
Yeah. So it is what it is. They're trying to push this feud out, which is a little bit difficult because Becky and Zoe are in the Money in the Bank match. So Trish isn't relevant in this situation. But
why, she took a night off?
Well, I guess she was doing a photo shoot or something. I don't know what she said. She was like, sorry, I couldn't make it, guys. I was like busy doing my like 10th cover magazine shoot.
Thank you, Trish, for taking the night off and letting this little breathe.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of why I want that t-shirt. I want the thank you Trish shirt, just because the irony in it, but then it's also like, no, really, like, thank you, Trish, because I love you.
For giving me a childhood.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. I'm sure Trish will be back soon. And I think it's good that we're still like, it's still relevant. This is what we were saying was going to happen, that they're going to have Zoe be like the middleman, so that this could still be happening and still be relevant for us as we go into Money in the Bank.
Money.
And then we have some of my favorite parts of the night involved in the Judgment Day. So I just want to talk about it. Okay. So it seems like
you're like, when you're going over what happens, you have your, I'll say, like, reporter voice or that voice. And then when it's Judgment Day, it's like hot schoolgirl, just like, oh, what's up, fellas?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
what's going
you.
on? I'm just chilling here by myself at this table with 3
Yeah.
empty seats.
There's room for you. Okay.
There's a lot of room for you. We can, judge the people at this table on this fine day.
Yeah, exactly. So we first see Damian Priest versus Matt Riddle in the final Money in the Bank qualifying match for the men's. I would say it was a good match. I don't enjoy watching Matt Riddle at all, but I felt like they worked really
What?
well. They worked really well together.
Shocked.
The match ends thankfully with Damian Priest winning to be the last person in the Money in the Bank match. And then Imperium comes to the ring and they just attack Riddle and just leave him crying. And I was just like, oh my God. So much handsome on my screen at one time. I can't handle it.
Where's your
So
boy though?
no, we're gonna get there. I have questions.
You have questions. All right.
Yeah. So there's some drama, but then it takes a turn for a minute. We take a turn for a minute. Oh, I forgot to post that. Oh, well, I have so many things I can't think. Then Finn Balor calls out Seth Rollins and challenges him to a Money in the Bank match for the title. I have to tell you.
I have a lot to say about this. So go.
I have so much. This is one of those moments where I'm like so conflicted on how to feel, because they're two of my favorites. And so it's really difficult. But basically, Finn comes out and says he wants to talk and just like have a serious conversation. He doesn't want any sing-alongs, any jokes, nothing. But the audience, who was really good last night, continued to sing. They sang throughout the entire segment. I mean, they were dedicated. And his beef now, so this beef kind of felt like it was out of nowhere, like it just happened and we were like, okay, he's mad because, Priest lost. No, this is going back 7 years, which tripped me, dude. 7 years ago was that match? Is crazy to me. Because, like, I remember sitting there watching it like it was yesterday, and I'm like, how has it been 7 years? Where does the time go?
I don't know. That is...
I was like, there's no way.
Obviously, it just hits you now, like, the hell is that doing?
I know, it's insane. So he just was talking about how, for the past 7 years, basically, that he's been upset with Rollins because he ruined his life, essentially. Injured him in the Universal Championship match at SummerSlam, which happened 7 years ago. He listed all of his injuries, which I was like, oh my God. Like, I've never had anything like that. My shoulders subluxate, which means they pop out of socket, like in certain positions if I put my arm. I know it's really weird. Like, this is a really stupid example and I'm gonna cut this out of the clip. But I was playing with my nephew a couple years ago. My nephew his birthday's today, actually. He just turned 5 today.
Happy birthday!
And I was running and I ran and like belly flopped like on our ottoman, which is like a giant ottoman for a couch. And the way that I landed, my shoulder popped out of socket and I was laying there for like 15 seconds with just like my shoulder out of socket. And then it like popped back in and my shoulder was sore for 7 to 10 days. And so the idea, and it just does that. Like I've dealt with it since I was like 14, I think. It was a dance injury. When I was on the hip hop dance team, I injured my shoulders. And so the idea of Finn having all of that like ligament and muscle damage, but then his shoulder came out of socket and he popped it back in and still went. I was just like, dude, that man is a beast. So
he really is. It's unbelievable.
It really is. So he said that he wasn't complaining, but it bothered him that Seth took everything from him, his momentum, his title, a year away from his career. And then he progresses to be like, I challenge you to the World Heavyweight Championship at Money in the Bank. And Rollins is standing there in his like silky crop top pantsuit combo, looking fashionable as ever. Laughs at him and says, this is the Finn Balor that I have been waiting for since that SummerSlam 7 years ago. And says Finn got bitter, but that he got better. And I said, it was so painful to hear that, because I was like, I love you. I love both of you.
Such a good line.
So obviously he accepts the challenge and then says, yeah, but which version of you is going to show up in London? Because a bitter shell of a champion doesn't stand a chance. And then when he walks out of the ring, he calls him a little bitch. And I was like, oh, I was
I love
so
how we're making
I
that his little line.
I was
like
flabbergasted, I tell you. I was flabbergasted. And so my first question is how good is this match going to be?
I would say as close to 5 stars as we are possibly going to see. That crowd is going to be electric. You're going to have Finn in, I would say, his backyard.
I know.
Or just say his backyard. Not home, but backyard.
But what makes it
And
interesting is the idea of all of these heels that are from Europe. And so I'm like, London doesn't care.
they
Europe
don't
doesn't care who you are. If you're from that area, they will cheer you no matter what they're supposed to actually do. So I'm wondering if they're going to get behind Finn.
So I think they're just going to sing Rollins' theme
Well,
song
yeah,
the
but I just wonder if
the
they'll
entire match.
yeah.
My question from this that I wanted to pose to you is, what was your emotional reaction to them singing throughout Finn's entire promo? And like heartfelt promo, keep in mind.
I mean, I think that it kind of is like it makes me torn, I think, a little bit, because on one level, like, I totally understand it. Like, it's their way of showing support to Seth, and it's like an easy trigger for the bad guys to get annoyed, so it's like, okay, like, they've been doing this anytime that he's been having conversations in recent months with a guy in the ring just to annoy the person. But then at the same time, it kind of reminds me of the like what chance, or the like whatever the type where they're just not listening. And especially when this is a feud that has substance to it, it's like a shame to me that they're not really paying attention, because this is the type of feud that we crave a lot of the time. We talk about, I mean, not just us, but wrestling fans, that they want feuds and rivalries and stories that actually mean something, and that it wasn't just put together last week and then they have to fight at the pay-per-view, So I feel like it's like, I kind of hope that maybe those people will go back and rewatch it so they can kind of actually hear what Finn was saying, because this is a match that we should be really hyped over. And I feel, I don't know, like, there's just so many deep layers to this story. I mean, there's a reason why they brought up the 7
Again,
years
yeah.
Matt, so yeah, like, am I pissed about it? No, I just feel like you guys kind of missed out on like a really good segment.
They should. I don't mind, because Seth is on that level. We don't really, it plays into Finn's, oh, no one really cares about me right now. Damien's getting all the hype, winning the Money in the Bank qualifying, and all that. Rhea's champion and Dom is Dom. I'm kind of left out a little bit. So I'm gonna rekindle this feud with the man who took everything from me.
Right.
So it just, from what he should have done was he should have kept going with the singing in the background. I think it would have been a better received for the TV audience, which at the end of the day, that's who you're mostly doing this show for. And if he said this heartfelt speech about how he took everything and how he should be champion and this, that, and the other, and the entire time, who you're trying to please to, not only is it Seth, but the fans too, and they're just singing his praises. I just felt like that was a missed opportunity that they could have used a little bit down the road when you're building up the vignette for this match. It was, or a social clip, for instance. Like, you could have done so much with this that I just think it was a missed opportunity.
Well, and there's still time, to
there's gonna be plenty of time where he
Yeah.
might even take up on my advice and just
Yeah.
roll through it,
Is he a
because
fan
they're
of the
not
show?
booing.
Finn, Fergal, are you watching?
He might.
But I also want to
He
ask,
might.
do you think that he has a chance to win? So obviously we know that Seth is probably going to win, right? Because they don't want to end his reign. But I feel like I wouldn't be completely shocked if Seth lost simply because he's a defending champion, right? But also it depends. We're going to get into it, but it depends on the direction that they're going in with the Judgment Day. But I like that it's like, even if you know, like in the back of your head that Seth is probably not going to lose, you still aren't sure because, like, obviously Finn is a formidable opponent. He's, like the whole basis of this
This
entire.
isn't Natalia, okay?
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. I mean, the whole basis of this feud is based on their last like championship bout, which was to become the inaugural Universal Champion. So, and Finn has had a lot of ups and downs in the last 7 years. So I do like that this isn't just like a filler match or a match that no one's going to care about. This is going to be a really good match.
I agree.
So continuing with the Judgment Day drama, which we saw unfold like throughout the entire show, Priest approached Finn in the back, who was talking to JD McDonough.
What?
I know. So Finn
street's getting hot.
So Finn congratulated Priest on qualifying for Money in the Bank. And then Damian was like, congratulations to you on getting your title shot. And then Finn was like, but if you win and I win, you wouldn't cash in on me, right? And Damian was like, no, of course not. But he said that, there's been tension between us and I don't really know what's going on. So you need to make it worth it by ending this with Rollins at Money in the Bank. And then he just kind of walks away. And Finn is left there standing like, I don't know. I'm kind of confused, right?
I saw that and I heard that and thought it could go DQ.
Yeah, I feel like, okay, so this is what I'm saying. This brings up like so many different avenues. So it looks like they might be trying to, I don't know, lay the groundwork for potential beef between Finn and Damian because they're both like alpha males. They're both wanting to go for the championship, and obviously they can't do it together because it's singles competition.
Yeah, obviously.
And as much as they want to support the other, they also want it for themselves, obviously, because who doesn't want the glory as being champion? So I feel like this whole thing is strategic. Like the timing is strategic. We've seen them kind of bump heads. Even earlier in the night, the Judgment Day were talking, but Finn was kind of like not paying attention at all. Like he was in his own head. So it was like, okay, that set that up. Then he's back talking to JD McDonough, who has been rumored to be a potential member of the Judgment Day. And now they're showing even more of this tension between Damian and Finn. So it's like, are they hinting at a potential member being kicked out? I saw people even floating the idea of what if Damian turns babyface and that is how he leaves the Judgment Day. I don't know. I don't dig that idea personally. No. I feel I don't know. I don't like either of them being babyface, but I feel like if anyone would be more successful as a babyface, it would be Finn, just because we've seen him be successful as a babyface, and we haven't seen that from Damian. But it's like part of me would love for this to happen because that obviously whoever gets kicked out would be replaced by JD McDonough, obviously. But I love the Judgment Day too much for them to even.
Why can't they just add a fifth?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that it's almost like creative isn't sure what they want to do right now. And I think part of it is because they think that when a group has been together or there's something has been going on and going well for what they think is too long, they feel like they need to force a change. Like that it's like, oh, well, maybe this is becoming stagnant, so we need to do something different. And it's like, I don't think that's the case. I think that something needs to change with the Judgment Day. Like one of them needs to get a title, whether it's the tag team titles, whether it's like, I don't know, one of them, I don't know. They can't go for the Intercontinental, but you know what I mean? Like something needs to change, but I don't know that they need to break up or kick someone out. Which would be fun if it was Finn that they kicked out, because Finn is the one who replaced Edge, and then they kick him out and make Damian the guy and bring in JD. That's the only way, but I don't know.
I agree. I had that same thought.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love it, but I feel like if they were gonna do that, that seems like the
Makes
road.
sense. It plays in the story. If we're gonna do that thing where you bring in someone new and it's a new leader, it's the person who brings them in or whatever, and then they get,
Yeah.
I get it if that's what you're going with, but let's just entertain the idea of adding a fifth and not
Well, and yeah,
subtracting.
I
Ooh,
think that's a better idea because the Judgment Day has been so good.
they're
Like,
so hot. They're so hot right now.
don't give up on them yet. You know what I mean? Like,
Never give
there's
up.
no reason for it. If you're not giving up on the Bloodline storyline yet, I don't think that
Well,
you need
that's the
to.
best story in wrestling,
No, but
Sarah.
I'm saying
So,
like you can't use
yeah,
the line of like, oh, it's been going on too long. You know what I mean?
you
Like
can't.
that's
No.
no. Moving back into the women's division, I kind of feel like is Natalya getting a gimmick change? So she showed up on Raw when she's been semi absent recently, and she had an interview with Byron Saxton, and she said maybe never being the same is a good thing because being herself hasn't gotten her anywhere. So it was very random, very out of place, very like, why is this happening? But I feel like obviously it's hinting like, is she turning heel?
But like she already was kind of heel.
She was kind of the Big Show, where like 1 week she was a good guy, the next week she was a bad guy. The same show she was a good guy and a bad guy. Like, I don't know, but
Yeah, I just I hate to say this because I do like Natalya as a wrestler and like an amazing performer. I just don't care about her. I'm just not into it. I think there's a lot more exciting young talent on the rise. There's a lot more people in NXT that I'd rather see get called up and put into some sort of feud than seeing Natalya with somebody again.
I'm wondering if we'll maybe see her do that thing where it was like, who did that recently? I don't remember, but the woman, like if Natalya kind of goes into like she wants to be heel, so she's just like beating up random chicks backstage.
Oh
I
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if she does that with like Indy Hartwell or Candice LeRae, who I think they were trying to trademark Candice LeRae's name, and Indy hasn't debuted yet. But next week they're in Cleveland, and Jardy Gargano has already hinted at possibly returning because that's where he lives and where he's from. So I wouldn't be surprised if she does maybe turn heel, but maybe she does the complete opposite of the whole basis of why she had an issue with Rhea being like, you don't respect us. And so then she's like, I don't respect any of you bitches, and just starts attacking them. But it's like her way of putting over Candice and Indy, maybe. But if that were the case, then sure, I'm interested at least to see what's going on. But yeah, I think Natalya is like what we said last week, that she's just kind of in that era of her career where she's not really drawing you in, but she's helping put girls over. I think that's kind of like,
That's her next stage. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on to my boys, Imperium. They roll up on Kevin Owens and seven. They roll up on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens again backstage.
Yeah.
And
What's going on, Sarah? Control your boys. All right.
So
Why are we walking up to the champs?
so they're being interviewed again, and Ludwig is the one that's doing all the talking, which I was like, hey. Okay. And he says they just destroyed Riddle as payback in the ring. So like, what's going on? And KO is like freaking out again, of course. They start calling Giovanni Vinci Baldy. And this is where I'm questioning. Is Vinci really injured, or is he just storyline? Because he's not even doing house shows. So
so maybe he actually is.
I'm fucking livid if that's what it is. Like, are you kidding me? Matt Riddle injured you? Are you kidding?
Kayfabe injured.
I'm hoping it's fake. I'm hoping it's just storyline, because otherwise I'm going to be so pissed off that he really
It would make. I mean, maybe he's no. So maybe what they do is like he got hurt doing a house show, whatever, and then you get injured by someone taking you out.
But still, I don't know. I think he was gonna
Matt Riddle
he
kayfabe took
wrestled.
him out.
Didn't he wrestle that night? He wrestled that night, and then he went and approached Riddle, and that's when he put him in the ankle lock.
Maybe he's taking time off. We don't know.
Well, I'm just saying I don't know. I'm just saying I don't know. I'm saying I haven't seen anything about it, and I will be livid if he actually did injure Giovanni Vinci. So anyway, Gunther and Kaiser say that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn should put their titles on the line. in the match tonight if they're feeling so ballsy and confident.
You know what?
KO
Fine.
freaks out and is like, fine. I don't know what this is about his character recently, but
I
he's
love it
having
though. I
mental breakdowns.
friggin' love it so much.
It's interesting. So then we get into their match, which happens to be the main event. Obviously, it was a great match. I was obsessed with this. I was so happy to see Gunther and Kaiser working together because obviously usually it is Ludwig and Giovanni Vinci, but I feel like this was a really good match. It shows you how much chemistry even they have in the ring together. So it isn't just Vinci and Kaiser. It's like,
He's
you know,
unbelievable.
Kaiser.
Oh, he's really good. I was very impressed with him in the
Mhm.
ring. He was really good. I like how I think his athleticism, I think,
Mhm.
is what blew me away the most. The different moves he was doing.
Well,
I'm a
and I
big
think
kick guy.
it's an aspect that I think people overlook because they are the bad guys, but like they really are so dedicated and so passionate to the art of professional wrestling. And it's moments like that match that demonstrated it. And again, it's overlooked because people are rooting against them. So they don't, it's difficult for some people who are like, I don't like you, and to give them credit for actually being good in the ring. But, you know, it is what it is.
So good.
So obviously it was a great match. I love that they did the Imperial Bomb. But what I thought was interesting was they basically had Kevin Owens and Sammy lose like 2 times in this match and had to break it up within like a millisecond of losing. So I thought, one, that was good for Imperium because it wasn't just like, oh, they're going to have Kevin Owens and Sammy like obliterate you in the ring and make
Yeah.
you guys look weak, which I'm sure part of it is because Gunther was in the match and not Vinci. But I also thought it
Yeah.
was interesting for Sammy and Kevin to kind of feel like to make them look beatable, which they haven't really looked like since they
Oh, they
won.
haven't looked beatable at all. It's nice to, because you need to make KO and Sammy this strong team. Like as much as Imperium will have their day where they are tag team champions, you need KO and Sammy to go on a little bit of a run here, at least till SummerSlam, maybe a pay-per-view or two after, to really build up this tag division and honestly give them, I mean, they deserve all the TV time in the world. You got to give them something to do before they jump back into the title picture or at least the main event card.
Yeah.
So this is perfect for them. And the fact that they were toe to toe with Imperium and, actually almost pinned Gunther at one point,
I know.
it shows that, all right, this is the next wave. These are the next guys who are going to step up. It was awesome. That match was
Yeah.
awesome.
It was great. It was great main event. So Riddle does come out and tries to make his way to the ring because he's all sad and
This was
mad about
so funny.
he
Sarah,
was
do you know who were the security guards in the ties? There were 3 of them that were old
uh
wrestlers that we all should know.
I don't remember. I don't think I have a picture of it. Was one of them like Davari? I don't remember.
No.
Shane Helms.
Shane Helms was one.
Oh, Jamie Noble.
No, I
No.
think there was a third. I can't think of it, but there was another one. There's one that was my guy, who's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
Who?
Think of my favorite finishing move.
The Canadian Destroyer?
Yes,
Okay.
that's his nickname.
Billy Kidman? No. I
No,
don't know. Who?
Petey Williams.
Oh, I told you I don't know who that is. So I was never gonna
Well,
guess him.
he's working. He's a producer for WWE now. He's very good.
Oh. So yeah, Riddle comes out because he's very mad. And he tries to get to Gunther, and Gunther's like, fuck you, and hits him with a boot. And then Gunther gets DDT'd by Kevin Owens, which is just stupid. Why did you do that? You literally did that on the hard ass metal. Like, there were better decisions, but Kevin Owens likes to like
ROH, baby.
it's just crazy. And then Sammy is able to take control of the match because Kaiser is left alone in the ring and he gets the pin over Kaiser. So great match. Interesting to see how this continues because we know that the tag team gauntlet is happening on SmackDown, which will determine the number 1 contender. So I'm wondering what they're going to do with this like lingering
So
feud.
I have a theory with this.
Okay.
That they were supposed to. So I think that Vinci is hurt, whether it's storyline or needed time off or real, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they're having the gauntlet because this is the next feud to throw him at because Vinci's hurt. So they're just doing a gauntlet to restart them with a feud with somebody. And then beating Gunther and Ludwig was like we'll say the chapter of that part of their feud, because you had Riddle come in, shows that Riddle's probably going to feud with Imperium now.
Well,
KO and
Gunther,
Sammy,
yeah.
they're attached in a feud like this. They're attached. So then
Well,
you
but I
need
meant
to
he
have.
would get a title match. Is what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah, with that. But you need KO and Sammy to feud against someone else. And honestly, you said it. I wouldn't mind a pretty deadly.
Hello, they'd be home at Money in the Bank. They're from
Yeah, and
England.
I think yeah.
Come on now, give them a homecoming.
Yeah.
Oh my
You know what? I'm kind of
god.
oversaying it, so I'm gonna let someone else say it for me. Where is he? I need someone else to start saying yeah for me. Where is he?
Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love
Yeah.
There you go. Thanks,
Yeah.
LA.
that would be great. That would be great. I am on board. Then, just a random happening, but what's going on with Nakamura, Bronson Reed, and Ricochet? That's what I want to know. So Ricochet had a match last night with Bronson Reed, which I am here for. It's funny because my nephew saw him and he was like, "You like him, right? You like him, right?" And I was like, to Bronson. I was like, "Yeah, we do. We like Bronson." But I find it interesting. Obviously we know that the trio have been having some beef, but mostly Nakamura and Ricochet having some beef with Reed. But Nakamura took it upon himself to get involved in the match and then got Ricochet DQ'd, which then had Ricochet be like, WTF, like, what are you doing? And they were kind of going at it. And then Bronson comes over and just demolishes them both. But I'm interested because Nakamura's a good guy. Ricochet's a good guy. They're kind of going at it. I'm wondering if it's going to be a triple threat. What is this going to be? Because I really don't want to see Nakamura turn heel. That wasn't like a great moment in his career. They really didn't know how to deal with him being a heel. So I hope that that's not what this is, but I'm intrigued.
I don't think he's gonna turn heel. They're gonna do that thing where he's a funny face, where he just does whatever he does. Like he's a face, he's over there, but he messes with everyone. I think that's the difference with a heel. Like heels mess with the good guys. You know what I mean? The face will mess with everybody. And that's what he's gonna do, hijinks and whatnot, and go to play into that role of his character. You need a little bit of a feud like this where it's just who wants to be the better man? Who is the better man? Who's the better fighter? There's not a lot of that right now. Everything kind of has that, underlying story or a connection, a championship. So with this, it's just all right. Who's the better man? And there's not many stories like this in WWE right now. I'm all for it. I like it.
Well, and it gets them all on TV. So
that's the de facto. That's the benefit that comes of this. They got to get these three on TV. You got to find a way to do it. What better way than have a just grudge feud, essentially?
Yeah, definitely. Then we had Alpha Academy. They were shown training Maxine for her debut in the back. And I have to tell you, I am obsessed with her outfit. I am obsessed. Yeah, really cool. Well, yeah, you're a guy. But I love that they
I appreciate fashion.
Yeah, okay. So I love that they went in that direction because I think they very much could have done the complete opposite to make her look as like, pretty girly, fashionable as they could, because that's how she started. She's Maxine Dupree. But I love that they were like, no, we're gonna have her play off of their singlets. So she's gonna wear a singlet, but obviously she has to wear a top. And I'm obsessed. I just love it. I love the integration of Maxine into Alpha Academy. I think their dynamic is great and kind of unexpected coming from her, because you see a hot girl and you're like, nah, she can't do comedy. She can't like be convincingly funny or have chemistry with these guys, but she's done great.
She really has done well with them. The chemistry between, there's kind of that tension where they're all vying for Otis'
Mhm.
attention.
Yeah.
And Otis just wants to be part of Alpha Academy and have everyone get along.
Mhm.
So he's playing into that role where it's like, all right, you guys, like they had to get along somehow. And he plays into the fact that obviously you need to train like we need to get Maxine in the ring because you
Mhm.
need to have her face somebody. I just wish it wasn't Valhalla.
I know, but she threw her down. They let her throw her
That
down
was
when she was during the
nice.
match. I
What a
know.
snapmare, or what was it, headlock takedown or something? I don't know.
Something like that. And I was
Really nice.
glad because, like Valhalla has been basically untouchable to this point. And I mean, not that she's had matches, but I mean, they don't
No, but
really let
yeah, like
anyone get close to
the
her.
futuristic
Yeah. So I thought that was great, and I'm really excited to see what happens because we know that Maxine is newer, but obviously we've been waiting for this moment for a while. So I'm interested to see what she can do, and I think it's like the perfect the perfect timing for her to be doing it with the Alpha Academy. Then we have Logan Paul is announced to return to Raw next week, and
I don't really care either.
I don't care, and I really pray that they are not going to somehow try to sneak him into the Money in the Bank match
They're
because
somehow so gonna sneak him in.
I'm gonna be pissed off though because like imagine people are like he needs to win. No, he fucking doesn't. He's never around. I'm sorry, but like I can't stand. First of all, the guys that they have in the Money in the Bank match,
Perfect.
it's promising, because it's like all of these guys would need the Money in the Bank contract in order to even be considered for the title picture. Putting Logan in there would make it be like, oh, okay, they're going to give it to him because he's already had a title match with Roman Reigns. They've already been doing this with him. Like he's had 2 Mania matches and this and this and that. Like, of course he would seem like the front runner. He doesn't belong in the match with them. It doesn't make any sense. And unless he's saying I'm going to be there every single week on Raw, then he shouldn't win because like there's no point in having someone win the Money in the Bank ladder match and then carry the briefcase around for up to a year and he's never there. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So Richard says this. I have a theory that next Raw, Logan Paul returns to be added to the Money in the Bank ladder match, but Pierce tells me he needs to earn a spot like everyone else. Money in the Bank.
But then who would be the last person if it's not Logan? Like if Logan's not put in the match, then who would it be? Johnny Gargano? Because
Oh,
he's gonna he's
yeah.
that is fine, okay, if that's what they were gonna do, as long as Logan's not in the match. I don't care if he's like I want to be in the match and then Pierce is like you need to qualify. That's fine, but do not put him in that match. Do not stop handing him all of these matches, all of these moments that all of these dudes bust their ass for, and you're just putting him in because of who he is. Like, just stop. It's so annoying. It's so annoying to me. Because like no one really cares about this like celebrity crossover shit anymore. Like it's like, does it bring in viewers? Yeah, sure, but probably only for the show that celebrity's on. No one who's a huge Logan Paul fan is watching Raw every single week unless Logan's on. Like they're not. It's just not happening. So I would just I don't know. I would be so irritated, especially because of the guys who are in the match. It would be so unfair to them.
What if Bad Bunny returns to interfere with Logan in the Money in the Bank qualifier? I'm going off Richard's idea. That's a brilliant idea. In that Money in the Bank qualifier, and it's Gargano wins, but it's because of like Bad Bunny getting in. We have Bad Bunny, Logan Paul at SummerSlam.
But why would Bad Bunny interfere for Logan? Just to like set
Same
it up?
reason, exactly what you just said, in the sense where we're celebrities. We get to do this once in a lifetime thing, and you come in here and you're trying to like, he's kind of going to be like that voice for the locker room on the outside, because he basically main evented a show in Puerto Rico and crushed it.
But do you really think that they would have Logan beat Bad Bunny?
No, I think Bad Bunny would win again.
But do you think that they would really have Logan lose at Mania and then at SummerSlam?
Yes.
I just don't know about that. I don't know. But I don't care as long as he's not in the match. If he's in the match, I'm just going to be like, Triple H has literally become Vince McMahon. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are we doing? I mean, I already blamed Triple H for signing Logan Paul to begin with anyway. So, because it was like him and Stephanie.
They had to.
Ugh.
It was brilliant.
Ugh. But anyway, that was Raw, but we're getting into SmackDown. So we do know some aspects of SmackDown. We know that Roman Reigns is returning this week, which they make a big deal out of every single week because he's not there every single week. So I'm very curious to see what he's going to have to say, because we saw what happened last week with the Usos and Paul Heyman and what Jay had to say. Jay didn't make his decision. He lost his United States Championship match, which is allegedly courtesy of Roman Reigns. So there's a lot that could happen this week with Roman and the bloodline.
I do not want to predict the bloodline story anymore because no, I sound like Kevin Owens. I know, but hear me out. See, I'm getting tripped on my words anyways. I love the bloodline story at this point so much because you just don't know what's going to happen anymore. You thought you knew and it was becoming predictable. But now with this whole Jay, Jimmy, kind of Solo interfering and then, all that. I have a weird, I just don't know what, I thought last week Jay was going to make a decision and then go a few weeks, it was getting that predictable, but you could have Roman come out and be all support of Jay and then just start doing exactly what Paul Heyman said about, grooming him to be the next tribal chief, and then have all that be a ploy to manipulate. That's just another way to manipulate him by, yes, you are going to be the next tribal chief. Yes, you're going to do this. And then, when that chance comes to get the title shot, it's like, oh, but I'm not ready. You can have this when I'm done playing with it.
Well, and it could also be, because they're hinting at this potential divide between Jimmy and Jay. Let's say Roman manipulates him and Jay's like, okay, he goes back to the bloodline, right? Then we see a replay of what happened with the bloodline and Sami Zayn when Sami was leaving, but they start doing it to Jimmy. Then we have that callback. Roman is like, Jay, I need you to hit your brother. And then he's like, no. And then he hits Roman. This is what I mean. Or it's Solo does it. Solo just comes out of nowhere and is like, no. You know what I mean? Or it's like, again, it happens where Jay does it and then Solo is still with him. And then Solo eventually gets sick of it. And then he turns on Roman. I don't know. Like you said, there's so many scenarios that can happen, but it's exciting.
It's so exciting in the best way possible that I'm just excited for it. I'm not in the stage where I am ready to predict it and I know what's going to happen, because at this point I don't. And when I don't know what's going to happen, that's where all things go haywire. By the way, we did not forget to talk about this. I am not talking about Ronda Rousey on my show. Okay. She does not deserve time on our show.
The reason I didn't include it was just because it was so quick. So first of all, I thought that Raquel looked gorgeous. I'm not gonna lie. I thought she looked so beautiful.
You have the dichotomy of, we're never going to talk about Shayna Baszler or Ronda Rousey, but God damn it, I would love to talk about Raquel Rodriguez all the time because she's amazing.
Yeah, so I was really excited to see her back last night because she had been gone for a couple weeks, and then obviously she's probably staying with Braun, who just had neck fusion surgery. So who knows what's going on with Braun. But yeah, I thought she looked great last night. I hate her gear. I don't know what it is. I just don't like it. But I thought she looked beautiful. And I was just glad to see her back on TV. I mean, obviously we knew what was going to happen in that match because they have to build up Ronda and Shayna. So especially as they go into their unification match. So I'm not surprised about that. I would like to see maybe Raquel step up and be Rhea's next opponent or something, because Rhea she's not doing anything since she won at Mania. And I know I saw some people saying that she doesn't deserve to be champion or whatever in the comments. It's not her fault though. It's not up to her who she has a match with, who she feuds with. It's not up to her. But I feel like I would love to see her and Raquel against each other. And that's a match that we haven't really experienced with there hasn't been many times in WWE recently where we had two equal women at that size and strength. So I think that would be pretty cool. Then we have go ahead. What
match was just? I was just gonna say that match would be
banger after banger after banger after banger after.
Yes, it would. I really think you should see it. I would love it. So more for SmackDown, we have the tag team gauntlet match, which is between the LWO, Pretty Deadly, Street Profits, the Brawling Brutes, and who am I forgetting? Why do I always forget somebody?
The OC.
The OC. Yeah, there's always one I forget. It's not always them. It's just somebody in general. I'm excited about this. I'm intrigued by this. I still think that the only team that makes sense to win, given their current characters versus the characters of the tag team champions and the location of Money in the Bank, is Pretty Deadly. So I think they should win, and that's not me just being biased. It's 100% me being biased, but it also is just trying to think from a logical standpoint that they make the most sense. You know?
If the pay-per-view was not in the O2, the Street Profits. But because the pay-per-view is in the O2, the way just life is working out right now, where Pretty Deadly is on the rise after being drafted. They've been on, I would say, every week of SmackDown over the past 4 weeks. They think highly of them, okay? And they don't need to win. I think this is what a lot of people are going to miss with this, is that you just need them in the match. You know, you just need them to have that credible match against a legitimate opponent, or opponents in this case, to give them that little boost so that they can, you know, do their own thing and feud with other people and and actually have fans into it, and not just like, who are these guys from NXT?
Yeah. Well, and people don't seem to realize that they were like multiple time tag team champions in NXT. So it's like they're not inexperienced or unworthy or whatever. It's like, no, they are. You guys just don't, you're not familiar with them, which doesn't negate everything that they've ever done just because you're not aware of it, which I think people will kind of confuse that, you know?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I did want to address RJ Jr. We don't dislike Shayna. We
No,
dislike
it's not.
Shayna.
Shayna's not the problem.
Yeah, we dislike
I
Shayna
love
with
Shayna
Ronda.
Baszler.
We don't like Ronda. We have
Yeah,
nothing
no.
against Shayna.
Yeah, like your favorite player to go to the Yankees.
Yeah, we're not like super familiar with what Shayna did in NXT. We weren't watching at that time, but I don't have a problem with
tuning
Shayna.
in here and there. She was just an ass kicker. I just did.
Yeah.
She was just an ass kicker, and I love ass kickers in the WWE and professional wrestling in general. But when you have them paired up with Ronda Rousey, who I think is the biggest poison to your locker room and brand, then I just am out. I don't like her. I don't think she belongs in WWE.
He doesn't like Ronda either, so at least we're on the same page.
Yeah, so we like Shayna. I, to be honest, would like Shayna to go after Rhea Ripley at some point, or Asuka, whatever show she's on. Basically, I would like to see her go for a world title. But can we just have her do it alone or with another partner, not Ronda Rousey?
Yeah,
that's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then we also have the Grayson Waller effect with Charlotte.
My boy.
So, I mean, this makes sense. Obviously, Charlotte just returned, and then we have the drama with her and Asuka, her and Bianca, the new women's championship, how that's going to pan out. So they're going to discuss that, obviously. But my bigger question from this is, when are we going to see Grayson Waller debut, like in a match? That's my main thing.
After Money in the Bank, he doesn't need to right now. There's no real like place for him where you need to have him on so that he can get his spotlight. He can do stuff like this. The Grayson Waller effect, you need that talk show of sorts so that they can have a little bit of time. Like, so it's not just two wrestlers going to a ring and have two microphones and just talking. There's a little bit of a setting. There's a little bit of that imagination. There you go. Like our imagination.
Oh my God.
We're using. There you go. You got the reference.
Yes, I did.
We're using that because that's what you do in wrestling. And for him to steer into this, he doesn't need to wrestle. Everyone knows that he's fantastic in the ring. Just waiting for that feud. And right now, leading up to Money in the Bank, there's nothing. So I'm okay with him not wrestling or being in a feud where it ends up fighting in the ring for at least another month. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm just, I'm eager to see it because I was really hoping to see him versus AJ Styles. I felt like that could have been really cool, but we'll see. It could still happen.
You could still get it.
But I am interested for the Charlotte thing because we know Bianca has been tweeting since Raw, or since SmackDown, I'm sorry, about, you know, Charlotte's being the next in line and getting the title match and not her, and then joking about how she kept pointing to the Raw Women's Championship and not the new Women's Championship, and so they're going after two different titles. Like, I'm interested to see how this develops. We talked about maybe it'll be triple threat. Maybe Bianca turns heel. Maybe Bianca interferes and costs Charlotte, and that leads to a triple threat. Something. I am interested to see how this develops because obviously something that either Grayson or Charlotte says is going to kick them off to have like Asuka or Bianca come out. So I'm interested.
I'm intrigued.
And then the last little preview for SmackDown is AJ Styles and Mia Yim versus Karrion Kross and Scarlett. I'm excited because we haven't really seen AJ and Mia tag team, and we don't really get to ever see Scarlett in the ring. So I'm intrigued about this. I still feel like they're trying with Karrion. So I don't know how well this will go. I don't know how long this will last, but I'm intrigued.
If AJ Styles can't put you over, nobody can.
Yeah.
That's kind of my at this point. You got to throw him to AJ Styles. It's a good feud to build on because I just think it'll be a good match once they finally have that 1v1. So I'm looking forward both, emotionally and literally for this match because it's just inevitable.
Yeah.
And it's a great SmackDown feud. I think that's one thing we're gonna get back to are show specific feuds where they're not on the main card, but like, oh, I could see them definitely feuding in the mid card of this show because it makes sense and whatnot. So yeah, I think it's
Yeah. Yeah, so we shall see. I'm excited. And I did want to talk about this too. RJ Jr. says, who do you guys think will be the final participant in the women's Money in the Bank match? I hope Zelina wins, though. I was thinking about this. I don't know. Maybe Natalya. You know, I feel like it needs to be a Raw girl. But it might be if they're trying to push Natalya into something. Maybe it'll be Candice LeRae. Maybe like
What about
I don't
Tegan
know.
Knox?
Maybe I don't know. I feel like it was going to be a Raw girl. Isn't she on SmackDown? Is she on SmackDown? I don't know. Richard thinks that it will be Candice LeRae.
LeRae. Dana
Which is
Brooke, why
possible.
not?
No, Dana Brooke's in NXT.
What if we get an NXT girl?
I mean, possible. I don't know. Oh, she is on Raw. Tegan's on Raw. So
What if we get an NXT participant to tease to not win because too many.
But they just did the draft though.
No. But hear me out. No, you hear me out. You tease that an NXT wrestler can win it and cash in. See my point?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, because it's okay.
I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah, that was Raw. And that is our SmackDown preview.
Yes. Thank you guys for tuning into this. All right. It was a great episode of Raw. And we have a lot more in store for you. I cannot wait. In the meantime, go subscribe to that YouTube channel, Sara Marshall XO. Hit that subscribe button and bell to be notified when we go live. And if you don't have an hour and 18 minutes, holy wow, we went long today, but we have, I think, our most in a while for viewers. So we like that. Keep growing. Tell your peeps to come and hang out with us and talk wrestling in the yard streams. It's a lot of fun. And if you don't have that hour and 18, like I was saying too before I was distracted, we have all these clips cut up for you. Yes, David. Yes. So is your gymnastics person you love. She's awesome too.
Yeah.
So you go to no, hold on. Let me back up. So you're gonna check out all the clips that we have spliced and cut up for you. If you don't want to hear us talking about ye old Ronda Rousey, but you want to hear us just fanboy over Pretty Deadly or Judgment Day, you can choose there in the archive. So go check that out, and then be notified and know when we not only go live, but when the clips are out and when we just have wrestling thoughts or just thoughts in general. Okay, go follow us on the social medias on Twitter at Pat_Pitts and at SMarshXO. Instagram, because I post some clips and stuff for my other things on Instagram, Pitsy35 and at @smarsh_, and TikTok as well, @smarsh xmarshxo
Mm-hmm.
for TikTok. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you gotta do is try. See you on Thursday. Yeah. Oh, it's upside down. But whatever. Yeah.